Hey, my name is Shelly, and welcome to the video where I rank everything I read in 2024 and put it in tier maker. There's got to be a better way of saying that. That's just such a tongue twister. But this is the video. So far in 2024, I've read 28 books. And this is not including DNFs or books that I'm like currently in the middle of. So 28 finished books. Now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I've read more than 28, but here we are. Anyways, so without further to say, let's get started. Category is new obsession. This is obviously, I am obsessed with this book. It's a new favorite. The second rank is so effing good. This is like really good, but it doesn't reach that like high status. Okay, so the third is meh. Obviously it's like mid. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not great, but I still liked it. The fourth one is not for me. So I mean, obviously that's just... And the fifth one is I want my money back. Like, this book is like, I wish I could go back in time and not pick it up. Okay, so let's get started. So the first book is Destiny by Elizabeth Hayden. This is the third book in the Symphony of Ages trilogy. It's kind of like First Law, where it's kind of, the series is broken up in a bunch of trilogies. So the first one is Destiny. And although Rhapsody is like my favorite book, it's like right there. It's my favorite book of all time. This book, there was just too much happening, and the page count was ridiculous. It was almost 1,000 pages. So I kind of did not love it, but I think I'm gonna have to put it in meh. And that's a shame. I just feel like it was just too bloated for what it needed to be. I feel like they should have taken out a couple POVs. I feel like that didn't really matter. I really loved the three main characters in this story, and I really wanted I wanted the story to be focused on them and not, everything else. But with that said, it is still a really great series. It's a me problem. Whoa, okay, Leigh Bardugo the Familiar. We're starting off with a bang. Okay, so I'm going to put this in I Want My Money Back. I hated this book with, I would say, not with passion, but I really disliked this book, like a lot. It had some really interesting concept. It was very well written, but just the story didn't work for me at all. I didn't care. I really wanted to DNF it, and I kind of kept going because it was a buddy read. So I wanted to keep going for the purpose of the buddy read, but honestly, I should have DNF'd it. It was just not good. And I'm thinking, besides Leigh Bardugo's Alex Stern series, she's not an author for me, which really saddens me because I do like Leigh Bardugo as a person. I generally do. I just don't connect with her writing. So that is I Want My Money Back. Magic Burns. This is... I don't even remember, book 3 or 4. No, it's book 2. Sorry, book 2 in the Kate Daniels series. And I love Kate Daniels. Like, honestly, I love this. I really liked this second book a lot. I felt like it took the first book, it took everything that was good about the first book and just kind of continued on with it. So I really, really liked it. So it's effing good. Cibola Burn. Honestly, I don't remember this book at all. Oh, no, I do. Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah, I think probably out of all the Expanse books, I like this one the best. I believe this is the 5th book in the series. It's the 4th. I was so wrong. It's the 4th book. And I do like this one because this one is like, it's when, a ragtag team is kind of... the world is expanding a little bit more. It's getting a little weirder. So I did like that. But overall, The Expanse is not one of my favorites. I did love this TV series. This TV series was so good. And I just feel like the book series, although it is really good and it's very well written, it just doesn't catch me as much as the series did. But I think I'm just going to put it in meh because honestly, I didn't really remember what happened in it too much. Okay. When the Moon Hatched. I felt like I read this recently, but I guess I didn't. This was a really great surprise. I really liked it. I felt like, again, it was too bloated. I felt like it was a little bit too a little longer than it really needed to be. And there were some things that I absolutely loved about this series. There were some things, but I kind of wish that they focused more on those like unique aspects. But instead, this author kind of kept with current trends for romanticises, and I kind of didn't like that. I didn't love that. But I felt like it was pretty good as far as romanticises go. So I'm putting it in so effing good. All right, Lost Metal. This is the last book in Mistborn Era 2, and I believe Mistborn as well. But then, no, I think I've heard he's continuing on with the series. But anyways, it's the last book in Mistborn Era 2. And I'm not a Mistborn person per se. I do prefer second era more than first era, but again, I'm a Stormlight fan, so for me, it's not as good. I liked it. I liked the ending, and I am curious to see what he has in store for the next series. So I'm gonna put it in so effing good, but it's gonna be at the bottom part of it. Okay. Gods of Men by Barbara Klaus. This is a reread for me. It's I would say, probably new adult romantic fantasy, and it was meh. It was okay. It was entertaining. It was very well written. I did enjoy it, but I think the story just didn't catch me. It was kind of a forgettable story, and I hate to say that, but it was very entertaining and it did what it did. But yeah, going back, I can't really remember what the story really was about. Okay, Bloodbound by Patricia Briggs. I just finished this, and it is the second book in the Mercy Thompson series. And it's an urban fantasy series about a shapeshifter who shapeshifts into a coyote. And it was pretty decent. It reminds me of Sookie Stackhouse or like True Blood, that the world is very similar, which I'm not really a fan of, but I do love the Aboriginal representation of this. I wish the author focused a little bit more on that, because I found that much more interesting than some of the themes and plot lines we get in this. But these books are very episodic. You can just pick them up whenever. So it's meh, but it's gonna go behind Sybil Byrne. Okay, Magic Bites by Ilona Andrews. This is gonna go with New Obsession. I didn't actually give this book 5 stars. I think I gave it 3.5 or 4, but I absolutely love this series because all I want to do is read it. It's so good. It's so fun. The banter is amazing. I highly recommend it to anybody who likes like urban fantasy or even romantic fantasy or even just fantasy, because the romance in it is really good because it is a husband and wife duo writing team. So you do have the best of both worlds in it. And I freaking love it. It's so good. And Kate Daniels, she's just a sassy, I freaking love her. I love her so much. So this is like becoming one of my new favorite series. So this is a New Obsession. Okay, so I don't know why I picked up this book. I think I picked it up because of the hype of the new book that's out right now, or it just came out. So I'm like, oh, well, I should continue on with the series because I started it so long ago. But I hated that first book in this series, and I thought that maybe this one would change. And no, it is going in I Want My Money Back, and it is going right here because it was terrible. It is a terrible book. I'm so sorry for Sarah J. Maas fans. I hated every single freaking moment of this. And it was just so horribly plotted. Like, I don't know what was happening when she wrote this book. It's just so messy and lazy. Like, you can tell that it was very lazily thrown together. I don't know. I just felt like it needed editing. I think that's a problem with a lot of popular fantasy authors, is that when they're popular, they're able to sell bigger books, but that is also not so great because I think they also needed editing as well. And that definitely, it needed, I would say, about probably 200 pages taken out completely. So that's where I stand. Magic Strikes. I believe this is the 3rd book. Yeah, this is the 3rd book in the Marcy Thomas series. I probably like this the least out of all the books so far because it's like a battle plot. And I'm not really big on like battle plots, or competition plots, I should say. So yeah, because of that, I'm putting it here. yeah, actually, you know what, let me just rearrange this. Okay. So yeah, I'm putting it here because it wasn't my favorite out of all of them. So it's all right. Okay, The Wolf of Oren-yaro by K.S. Veloso. I read this with my friend V. We had a really fantastic time reading it. It has its flaws, and there's a lot of pacing issues that I had with it, but I absolutely loved her writing, and I think that her world building is probably, I would say, top tier level. Like, the political scheming, the world, all the different countries, religion, all fantastically top tier. But like I said, it is the pacing that is the downfall. It's too quick, it's too sudden, and it just it kind of takes you out of the story a little bit. But overall, I really do like the story, and the writing is fantastic, like I said, and I did get attached to the characters, so I'm gonna put it at the end of So Effin' Good, because I did have a really great time with it, but it's not a new favorite. Okay, so, we're right, the Icosar Falcon, this is the continuation of it. Also similar feel, like, I feel like I like them equally. Maybe I like this one a little bit more. I actually don't know which one I like more. I felt like the ending was too rushed for this one. I felt like there was a lot of like wasted time in the middle, and then the ending was super rushed, and I didn't like that. And there was a lot of like plot conveniences that I felt. So I think I'm gonna put it after this one. Yeah. So The Elder Race by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Oh, I love this book. It was such a sweet surprise. Well, you don't belong there. It was such a sweet surprise. I picked it up on a whim because I had it, and I just needed a quick read, and I love it. I think it's a novella. It's a sci fantasy novella. I talked about it in one of my previous wrap-ups, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm definitely going to put it in New Obsession because I love it. Adrian Tchaikovsky is one of those authors that are either hit or miss for me. Either I absolutely love his books, or I am so indifferent to them. And this is one of the occasions where I absolutely love the book. So I definitely need to read more Adrian Tchaikovsky this year because I kind of miss his writing already. First Sister. Okay, so this is one of the first books that I read in 2024. And I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by this book. I'm going to put it in So Effin' Good. This is a sci fantasy book. So it's kind of like a space opera. It's kind of like a dystopia. You kind of got like a mix of like Red Rising elements to it. There's also Handmaid's Tale kind of elements to it. So there's a lot of like interesting, unique things. Plus it's like LGBTQ plus representations. There's a non-binary character. There is a queer character. There's an asexual character as well. So it's like there's a lot of representations for different types of sexual preferences and sexual and gender identity. So I highly recommend this series. I feel like it's extremely underrated, and it kind of falls in the category of like new adult, where it could be adult or it could be YA, it could be both, but I really enjoyed that first book, I would say. Okay, The Final Strife. I literally just finished this yesterday, and I'm still like processing it a little bit. The first, I would say, 150 pages were like 5-star reads. The middle part, I felt like there was a bit of a slog. I felt like it was too long. And then the ending part was another 4 stars. So I'm still kind of processing how I feel about this book. But I'm going to put it, it's So Effin' Good, but I'm going to put it before The Wolf of Oren-yaro. What? Why did you go here? No, you come back here. I don't know why you went over there. Yeah, I'm going to put it before The Wolf of Oren-yaro. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, it was really good. Honestly, it's like African-inspired fantasy. Very, I would say, challenging characters to like. They either you love them or you hate them, but they're very interesting to follow. And the world and I wouldn't even say magic system because it's not really a magic system, but the world is very interesting, very dark. But there's so much to it that I absolutely loved. So yeah, but I think it's just the pacing. I felt like it was a little bit too long in the middle. And also you do have a competition theme, which I don't like. So, but I am curious to see how the series continues on. Okay, The Second Rebel. I also really loved this. This is a continuation to First Sister. I can't say much about that. I really liked it, but I did not love it as much as I loved First Sister. So I'm going to put it at the end here. Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This I also read recently, and I didn't love it as much as everybody else did, but I did really enjoy it. So I'm going to have to put it in So Effing Good, but I'm probably going to put it here. Like I mentioned in my last wrap-up, I am not a fairy tale person. Like, I like fairy tales, I just don't like reading them. I've read too many in my life, and I just, at this point, it's something I would rather watch than read, but I highly recommend it because it's very dark, it's very creepy, and if you do like that kind of story, I really recommend it because it was very good, very well written. Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. This is actually a reread for me. I read it a couple years ago and forgot all about it, and then I had to reread it again because I'm doing a buddy read with Taylor from Made Between the Pages of the second book right now, and I'm going to put it here. This is just not for me. It is very much a callback to classic fantasies, to popular fantasies. In my personal opinion, it was a very forgettable book. I read it twice, and yeah, I didn't really remember, besides one storyline, I didn't really remember very much about it. I will have to say that he is an incredible writer, and he does have amazing vision. You can tell that he loves the world that he's writing, and he has thought about it so much, and it's very detailed and very rich in history and culture. So it is good. It's just I don't think it is a series for me at this moment. The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. I finally finished this book, and it was so good, but it is not a new favorite. Unfortunately, I was really hoping to love it. I just it is written very much like a historic fantasy, like a historic book, or a historic retelling. So for that, it's not really my preference of reading. I did really enjoy it though, and I thought it was very good. I will have to put it, I'm going to put it here. It was very good. I appreciate everything about it, but it's just not a new favorite. The Belated Faith by David Dalglish, if I remember correctly, that's his name. I was really anticipating this book. I really was excited for it because it was very much like Final Fantasy inspired. Half the book is a training montage, and I'm like, I don't care. So I'm putting in it. It's not for me. The only book that I liked that did the whole training montage was The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu. And I think I liked it because it was done in a very comedical way. It was very fun and engaging for me. Whereas this, I just didn't care. And I didn't care about the characters. I didn't connect with them. I didn't care. I did like the magic that they used, like the whole ability of like taking in a god's essence and kind of like mixing your essence with them and then becoming a different being. I loved that, but that's the only thing that I liked about it, and I don't care enough to continue on the series, so it's not for me. The Mother of Death and Dawn by Calista Broadbent. This is the last book in the, oh god, I can never remember the name of the series. This is the self-published book. It was probably one of the most detailed romantic fantasies, like as for world building wise, it's so well done. Like, it's very well done. But the story, it was okay, but it's not a new favorite. So it's gonna go in meh, but I think it's gonna go here. Yeah, it was really good. I highly recommend the series if you do like romantic fantasies and you're kind of looking for something a little bit more adult with a little bit more detail, a little bit more world building. I highly recommend this series. Paradise 1 by David Wellington, I think his name is. Yeah, David Wellington. I'm still not sure how I feel about this book. This book was very bingeable, but I was under the impression that it was a horror book. And it's more like a suspense book with creepy elements. It didn't scare the crap out of me like I was wanting it to. But it was so bingeable, but then it was almost the same thing where it was a very big book. It was very bloated, and I think it could have done well with some editing, but I am really curious about it. So I think I'm going to put it in, I don't know. I think it's going to be in So Effing Good, but it's going to be at the back because, no, why aren't you going there? Yeah, it's going to be at the back of So Effing Good. I didn't love it, but I liked it better than meh, if that makes sense. Darkwater Daughter. I know exactly where this is going to go. This is going to go in New Obsession. I loved this book. Like, loved this book. It was so good. Yeah, I can't wait for the sequel to come out. This is like a nautical theme book, very much like inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean, except you're now in like, it's cold. It's not warm Caribbean, it's like freaking icy cold. The main character is able to sing to storms so she can like call upon storms or push them away. And these storm singers are like almost used like slaves. I love the world. I love the two characters. It is a romantic fantasy, but it's very low on the fantasy. It's more like these two characters just being thrown in a situation together and building a relationship, as opposed to, it's all about the romance. It's the story first, and then the romantic relationship second. And that's the way I just kind of explain it. It was the perfect blend of adventure and mystery and romance. I loved it. I'm so excited for the sequel that's coming out this summer. Last Hero. Okay, so this is the third book in the, I don't remember the series names, but the third book in the series, and it was meh. I was very underwhelmed by this last book. I was really hoping that it would go somewhere else, and I felt like the story just got a little bit too convoluted. I don't know. It was try hard, I think. I still really do love the trilogy. It's just this last book just didn't really stick the landing as I hoped. But like I said, I still do really enjoy the series, and I highly recommend it. Magic Bleeds by Lona Andrews. This is the fourth book in the Kate Daniels series, and I loved it. This is probably when the book series starts to get really intense, like really epic, and I love this fourth book. So yeah, definitely going here. Can't say much about the plot, but yes, I loved it. Okay, Jim Butcher, Grave Peril. Meh. I'm really trying to love Jim Butcher, and I'm just not loving it as much as I wanted to. I still struggle with Harry Dresden's like tone. I don't want to say too much, but I feel like it's very much boys club kind of book. And that's just how I feel. I can understand it, why people love it so much. It's very much like, I don't care what that woman is wearing. I don't care how her little tight pants make her ass look. And that stands for the other way around. Like if it's a female character talking about how his shirt makes his abs look amazing, I just don't care, and that's just for me. So yeah, it's here, but I'm still continuing on with the series, and I can't say much about that. The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie. How fitting that it's the last one. So when it comes to Joe Abercrombie, I have like a love-hate relationship with it. I wouldn't even say love-hate. I would just say love-indifference kind of relationship with Joe Abercrombie. I either love his work or I absolutely am indifferent to it. I did not love the first book. I liked the second book. I had such a blast. I love our characters like that. Everybody talks about Joe Abercrombie and his characters, and it is so true. His characters are just so incredible. I love the humorous tone. I love the audiobook, everything about it. It was so good. It was 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite 5 because there was some pacing issues. There was some stuff that I wasn't completely in love with, but I think that it was a really great book, and I'm super excited to continue on the series. All right, so that is everything I read in 2024. I'm pretty pleased with the amount that I've read and the quality that I read. Like, I've read some pretty good, like, I've got some good ones. I've got a lot of new obsessions. I've got a lot of effing goods. So, I mean, can't complain with that. As always, you can find all of my links down below, including my Buddy Read Discord. Highly recommend it. And if you've made it to the end of the video, leave a lion for Magic Bites. If you enjoyed this video, think about liking and subscribing. And thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous day. Bye!